myself, I kind of be like, oh, I don't know if I got like all my value. Oh, it's not going yet.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is?
It is. Yep. We are.
Oh.
Yeah. We're going.
Well.
All right, folks. Welcome. I'm hoping that you can hear me out there. And Matt, just do me a favor.
You're good on YouTube. I haven't caught you on Instagram yet, though.
Nothing on Instagram.
But you're on YouTube.
All right. Well, we're gonna make sure that we are live on all channels on this September 10th.
September
2025, everybody. September
2025.
Let's see.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, we don't want that.
Volume works.
We do not want the volume. Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody to this Whiskey Wednesday. So glad that you're here with us. And yeah, Matt, pull Instagram on up. Let's make sure that we got everybody in
it is not going
in the IG land.
You have
able to join.
No one in IG land, Bernie.
No, okay. Well, let's just make sure that if people did want to join on IG, it is possible. So let's give it a couple more minutes before I make a special intro.
We'll give it a couple more minutes.
Absolutely. Oh boy.
But you're rolling on.
How about those commanders?
How about those commanders?
He's heading out, Burn.
Anna, is there a problem? Hey, is there a problem?
No,
Okay, cool. All right. So sorry about that, folks. All right. Shoot.
So we basically just talk about politics and religion and sexual relations and this stuff. That's kind of what happens here.
Wow.
I mean, after 9 o'clock, when. But hang on, maybe about it happening. You just went on Facebook, so that just happened.
Right.
I mean, it depends. You might have need to bring more than 5 bottles of whiskey if you wanted that to happen.
Yeah,
just saying. Or you might have to double back a couple times.
Is this table made out of wood or marble? Because that's important.
It is a granite marble, something.
Okay. Good. So
something, but it will. It will chip, as we have found out.
That looks like a little. I can see some skin knee.
Yeah. It'll chip your bones as well. Don't hit this with a kneecap
clean the blood off it.
Or hip. Yes, absolutely.
It'll see a little part of a tooth there.
It'll leave its mark for sure. Well, everybody, you see the whiskeys on the table. Some of you know those whiskeys just by the sight, although they aren't. We are more so, I guess, in hopefully better pixelation. What's on the table, you may or may not know it, but we're going to talk all about it today. And no one other than the guy who is most connected here in this region region. All right. His name is Jay Liddell. He is, well, let him tell you who he is. Of course, M-Dog's in it over there. Pleasure having you, M-Dog, back. But Jay, man, so great having you in. Please make your introduction and let us know what you do.
Bernie, I appreciate the time. I appreciate Chad Liquors, everything that you guys bring to the industry. So just a little bit about me. I spent most of my career in whiskey. So I started with single malt and was the brand ambassador for Macallan single malt back when I was in my 20s. And then fast forward through some other brands that I helped to develop. I fell in love with what is happening at Highwire Distilling. I serve as the national sales director, and I have seen a lot of change in the industry. But one thing that I have noticed that has not changed is quality and storytelling. So our distillery is absolutely what we're going to spend most of the time talking about. So what I'm really jazzed about or excited about is the process of bringing the brands through to the good people and changing hearts and minds and building a community and taking care of our taking care of our fans and our purveyors. So that's what I'm all about.
Indeed, indeed. Well, congratulations. We're definitely wanting to get into some of the history, the location, kind of what you've experienced, kind of working with them and building the brand really nationally, huh?
Yeah. So it's just,
see, I knew it wasn't just regional. See, I'm sorry, I said regional. No, he is the guy nationally. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Well, Bernie and I. So this is what happens when you take care of good customers, serve the people. We're the same age, but I look about 6 years older than him. So he definitely takes care of himself and his customers better than I do. But reality is that we are actually thrilled at Highwire in 2025 for two reasons. We have sustained this incredible onslaught of the joy of American whiskey and worldwide whiskey to then be able to come to you when we're peaking, when we're getting to the point where we have incredibly nuanced and delicious whiskeys that are coming of age, that are already nuanced and flavorful, and they've shown great promise for several years. And there have been some incredible unicorns and incredible supporters here in the DC area. Bill Thomas at Jack Rose has been a huge supporter of Highwire Distilling for 5, 6, 7 years when he first discovered our agricultural process, when he first met our creators and co-founders, Scott Blackwell and Ann Marshall. So we have had Sherpas, guides, fans all along the way. And it's really exciting now where we're beginning to get more on the radar with those of us that are looking for what's new and next. So that's what we're going to talk about. So Highwire, believe it or not, it's not based in the local DC market, the Maryland market, the Virginia market. It's actually based in South Carolina. So we're in Charleston, South Carolina. And why is that important? Because this is the nexus of the culinary the culinary world of the Low Country. So the Low Country cuisine. So have y'all been to Charleston before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, you guys, we're gonna wrap this up in about 30 minutes, and then we're gonna get to the airplane. We'll be there for about 2 hours. So.
Indeed, that's good.
Yeah. So the fun part about Charleston is it's one of the oldest cities in America, dating back to the 1700s. So you really have a history. It's a port town, so you have a lot of kind of similarities to the eastern seaboard, from what I'd say Boston down to St. Augustine, Florida. Charleston has an incredibly rich history of not only cuisine and chefs, but agriculture. So that's really what we're looking to do. When Scott Blackwell and Ann Marshall started Highwire 12 years ago, they came from the hospitality world, the food world. They had just sold their natural and organic food business to General Mills, and they wanted to get back to building something that was going to be South Carolina based, Charleston based, and sort of bring their roots and highlight the terroir of the agriculture that they grew up with and knew and loved. So the idea was, how do you make a bourbon project come to life in an authentic way, but not being from Kentucky and Tennessee?
Right.
So how do you do that? Certainly, there has been so many folks that have taken a story or a localized story and used expert craftsmen and craft partners in some of the known entities in Indiana and Kentucky and Tennessee, and that's certainly been a way that's been sustaining the thirst for more in the industry for the last 10 years. But now it's to the point where we're going back with a little bit more of a subtlety and more of an intelligence across the entire industry about why we want to consume something, why do we want to enjoy something. Because at the end of the day, whiskey's all about adventure, enjoyment, and kicking back with something that's got a little bit more to heighten the mood, to connect people, to tell stories, and to really just enjoy the experience of drinking. So that's kind of what I'll kind of start with, is our place, South Carolina. Been at it for 12 years. And Highwire sets itself apart pretty much from 5 different facets. We'll get into it as we kind of get into the tasting. So I think that's a good way to kick it off, and then we can start going through it. And what I'll do is I'll kind of layer in what makes Highwire different versus Kentucky bourbons and Indiana bourbons and so on and so forth, just so everybody can understand and see what they can taste for themselves. I will say, just as a tease, we've had some YouTubers recently over the last couple of months take our 7-year-old wheated bourbon and put it in blind taste tests with some legends such as Pappy 15, Old Fitzgerald, Weller Antique, Old Elk, and just some incredibly well-respected brands from years gone by. And we've had 2 or 3 different YouTubers do a blind in the wheated category, and they were shocked. But Jimmy Red 7-year-old beat out all those other competitors. So
wow,
it's starting to get super interesting for us. And that 7-year-old, we've got an allocation that's going to be hitting the market within the next 30, 40 days. So we're excited about that.
Oh, well,
that's what I was going to ask if it was on the market yet, but not quite.
Yeah. We had an allocation last year, which is what they're kind of doing. Everyone's kind of enjoying, but that's all been sold out. Gotcha. Now the next crop, if you will, is going to be available in about 30 days.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Well, Matt, you would need to put your glass up here on the table, because I'm going to ask Jay if he could maybe pour the first one for us. Wow, Matt, you go, if you wouldn't mind going to plug in.
Yeah, I got you.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you, brother. And gosh, what are we going to enjoy first, my friend?
So we've got our classic Jimmy Red straight bourbon, 95 proof. And there's probably, I'd say, a good number of your listeners that have seen this bottle. Maybe they saw the squattier bottle of Revival, which was the Jimmy Red corn from years ago. This bottle was updated a couple of years ago, and this label is newer as well, to kind of really bring to the forefront the most important thing that separates Highwire and Jimmy Red from any other bourbon on the market, which is our corn. So as you can see from, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this as we pour, but this is the Jimmy Red corn. And I'm going to tell you about it. I pulled this right off the stalk at harvest about 3 weeks ago out of one of our farm partners about 50 miles, 60 miles north of downtown Charleston. So I'm going to pour the bourbon and then share with you a little bit about the corn as we kind of get into the tasting.
Yes, indeed. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And we put a brown paper on the top of all of our bottles because it's sort of.
So I was just about to say, is it reminiscent of the husk?
Yeah, it kind of gives you that same kind of reminiscent of the husk. So it also helps us stand out on the shelves.
I never thought about it until seeing the corn sitting here on the table. I was like, oh, they're reminiscent of each other. But I never prior. I always thought it's interesting or fun look on the bottle, but I just didn't know if there was a resemblance directly. And now I see it exactly.
Now you see the light.
Yeah. As I just turned on the other light too. Look at that.
So while we kind of get into this one, this is 95 proof. It's got this beautiful gold kind of amber hue to it, and I think the interesting thing that people always get curious about is the mash bill. So our mash bill is 100% Jimmy Red corn.
How about that?
In the early days, we used to experiment with sorghum. We experimented with 4-grain production and having all these different variants, but Julian Van Winkle, who was a good friend of Scott and Ann's from their food days in the Southern Foodways Alliance, another mentor and Sherpa and guide for the distillery, he first tasted the White Dog of Jimmy Red, and he just fell in love with it. He said this is the best White Dog he had tasted since he was a little boy.
Wow.
So this is something that really stuck with Scott and Ann as they were developing their portfolio, and then they just went all in on Jimmy Red. So the mash bill is 100% Jimmy Red corn because of the properties of this corn. So most people, they need a little rye, they need a little wheat, they need a little barley to flavor the corn, because 98% of all bourbon is made with number 2 yellow dent corn. which is the yellow corn that we enjoy in the summertime. Throw some butter, throw some salt on it, chomp away. The other thing that I think is just, from a science perspective that's worth knowing is that corn is not grown, that the number 2 yellow dent is not grown for flavor, nutrition, and complexity. It's grown for speed and size, and so that people can turn it into feed, ethanol, and turn it out as fast as possible, as consistent as possible. So this is great when you're a craft distiller that's already planning, or a major industrial distiller that's already planning on using wheat, rye, and barley in various percentages in your grain bill. So you can really start to kind of use it as a base. But if the government tells us that 51% of all bourbons have to be made of corn, Scott Blackwell asked himself, well, why isn't the focus on the varietal ingredient and flavor coming from the main ingredient, corn?
Right, okay.
So that's when they found someone who knew more about grains than almost anybody in the country, Glenn Roberts, who owns Anson Mills in South Carolina. And Glenn showed Scott literally dozens of varietals of corn that they could possibly use to be a base for their bourbon to separate themselves, that was growing or was able to be grown in South Carolina. And when they saw this one, they thought, this is beautiful. And he says, this is the one, because this is the one that the locals would use to make their bourbon and whiskeys back in the 1800s, before it was, technically, legal and beyond just making whiskey for themselves.
Right.
So what I'll do is we'll take a minute and do a little tasting. I'll get back into that corn so we can kind of get the nose. This is batch number 52.
Okay, so you batch it out, huh?
So we number every single one of our batches. And this is over 4 years old, between 4 and 6 years old, in 53-gallon barrels. This is, we started utilizing 2 to 3 year air-dried staves about 5 years ago, based off the recommendations from our winemaking friends, as well as just discovering that it makes sense if you think about it. If you kiln dry the staves, you're literally burning and seizing the flavor. You're stopping the flavor with the wood sugars. So by letting it air dry and lowering the humidity, it's a more natural process, and you're allowing the wood grains to be more porous and allowing more of the natural sugars to kind of come to the surface to interact with the spirit. So a couple things that really make a big difference. There's more to it than that, but I think that's a good place to sort of go to the nose.
Sure.
Yeah.
So batch 52 is incredibly balanced. It has a nice sweetness on the nose. You guys tell me what you guys are experiencing with this one too, and we'll kind of get after it.
I'm gonna let the master go first. It's his show. Well, he's already taken a sip. I mean, I have to, but
so for me, it just has this nice, approachable, easy sweetness, and then it kind of gets into that a little bit more baking spices, and then when you kind of get through the palate, you get a little bit more nuttiness and maybe a touch of kind of graham and vanilla on the backside. But the spice, like, it's not peppery. It's like cinnamon, clove, kind of on the way to becoming apple pie. Those kind of things on the back end, as far as what I'm tasting today.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely drinks. I think being that 100% corn mash bill on the sweeter side, you're not getting the pepperiness or anything out of a typical, rye style bourbon. Yeah, I definitely see some nice kind of fall spices showing through as well. A little bit, the oak shows through a fair amount on the nose to me. On the nose,
but not so much on the palate.
So yeah, and not in a bad way. The nose is almost a little intense on my first couple sniffs. The oak was just, I was like, oh, this almost noses like a double oak at first. And I was kind of worried. I'm like, is it going to be? And on the palate, it's very like controlled. And now that it's blown off, I know it's a fresh crack. He just opened this right here. But yeah, the nose gives kind of double oak vibes right off the bat.
Yeah.
I mean, it drinks extremely well at 95 proof. I mean, no real sense of volatility or anything like that either. I mean, it's definitely a easy drinking bourbon.
Yeah. Well, what's fun about this one is when Glenn Roberts was taking Scott through every one of the corn varietals that were possible, he brought up the fact that this corn varietal has a high oil content.
Yeah.
So you get that on the mouth, right? You get this kind of oiliness that kind of just kind of coats your whole palate as you're sipping that, and that's you're going to see that develop when we get to the bottled and bond, when we get to the double oak for sure. And that's really what's fun about this is as people like Julianne Van Winkle will tell us, this stuff just drinks older because of the mouthfeel, because of the oiliness that viscosity delivers. You still get that fresh, sweet, young kind of quality to it from the sweetness of the corn, but it's tempered with that oiliness that gives it the richness, as well as that cinnamon clove spice coming from the corn as well.
Sure.
Well, the nose is absolutely gorgeous on this. I've once again, for being such a pure production, right? There's complexity of flavor there that's quite nice, like 100%, right? 100% corn.
So I guess the question
is amazing complexity. There's warmth there. It doesn't. There are some other, kind of 100% corn products within the bourbon world that I've had or tried, and I love the complexity. The slightly more rustic note of it, spices, sweet for sure, but there's a little bit of a candied cinnamon note there. A little bit of a, I'll say this, there's a hint of a red velvet.
I was about to say, I knew you were about to say something weird.
Yeah.
You double backed on it. I was like, about to say something weird.
And like in the best way, in a very light, fresh way, or what have you, nothing that's going to be too over the top.
You mean with or without the icing? Just red velvet, like
without the icing,
cake,
maybe.
just actual cake.
I got that.
Yeah, like that. That's
the butteriness and then that little hint of chocolate within the red velvet. Love it.
That's pretty daggone good, Jay.
Love it.
Indeed. I am liking that. Good. All right. Well.
So what do you guys when you guys look at different bottled and bond products? I mean, that's in my mind, that's the calling card of a distillery. Once you have a bottled and bond, then you kind of understand what the master blender or master distiller or producer likes and how they put things together. So I'm going to take the opportunity of sharing what I have left of my bottled and bond with you guys to kind of go through some of those complexities of the production elements. So we kind of all know what a bottled and bond is. It has to be distilled within a time period, January to June, either that period or July through December. It has to be stored into a new oak barrel, and it has to live in that one warehouse without being moved or being blended with anything else for a minimum of 4 years. And then it has to be bottled at 100 proof. So that's in essence what the bottled and bond definition is. And what's interesting about what we're tasting here is, again, this is 100% Jimmy Red corn. And this is the bottled and bond treatment. But when we talk about where the complexity comes from, yes, the corn is a big part of it. The other pieces that really drive the complexity and the layers are the speed of our production. So we have a sweet mash process. So every single one of our bottles, you'll see the word sweet mash on there. So as opposed to sour mash. Sweet mash is where we start with new grains, we clean out the tanks, and then what we actually will do is have a lower mashing temperature and then a lower fermentation temperature, and we do it for longer. So we have 6 tanks, and we're fermenting for 6 days for per batch, and we're at about 81 to 83% Fahrenheit, 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So 81 to 83 degrees Fahrenheit across the process, and that really allows the corn to gently deliver more complexity and flavor.
But
we have a lower yield. So that's one of the downsides. Sour mash has a higher yield. Sour mash usually is done faster at a higher temperature, so you actually are you're sort of letting go of some of the complexities and subtleties. You ain't getting red velvet and a lot of that stuff. So what's happening is it's faster and it's more efficient, but it doesn't allow that extra complexity of batch after batch on the tasting to be subtly different. So that's why we do batch every one of our bottles, is that much like the wine world, vintages matter. And with Highwire and Jimmy Red, because the ingredients are consistent, the only thing that changes on that side is that we're the terroir of growth during the corn cycle, whether it's coming from our farm partner 50 miles away or 75 miles away or 120 miles away. But beyond those variables, which matter as well, the actual process is consistent, so that we're trying to see batch after batch what makes, that oaky note on batch 52 that you picked up on wasn't necessarily there on batch 50.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm assuming y'all are fermenting in steel.
Yes.
Y'all also, Jimmy Red, Highwire gives the vibe. I'm sure y'all are too big where it'd be feasible that y'all would ferment in wood tanks. The vibe of Highwire is that they do wood tank fermentation. But obviously it's hard to scale that. And as y'all are growing exponentially these days, as we were talking before.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, to go from 2.5 acres of corn growth, and then in 2018, Garden and Gun, which is a magazine that's pretty popular around here, they named Jimmy Red and Highwire the Made in the South overall winner. So not just in spirits, not just wine, but all products made in the South. This Jimmy Red in 2018 was named the Made in the South award-winning product because of the corn story, because of how unique and different it was. And as you can imagine, every distributor under the sun were calling up and saying, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this. And they were like, we don't have the inventory.
Oh, wow.
So they had to pause on expanding the distribution and the sales to then refocus and triple down the investment, the time, and the methodical, careful attention, so that here in 2025, we truly have something that nobody else has in the market. And I mean, as we go through this line, I know you guys taste a lot, you experience a lot, and I would say the corn is a unique corn. The production process is unique. The terroir is unique. So you're going to have a unique whiskey experience. This is not a Kentucky style bourbon. This is not a Tennessee style bourbon. This is Highwire, and it's a completely unique experience. So I think no better way to experience it than through the bottled in bond, which is my personal favorite.
Yeah. All right. So bottled in bond. Let me go ahead and get that ticker.
This
going.
One has so much more.
Apologies for
on the nose
for not having it up already. And also, I would like to say welcome to those of you who are now hopefully chiming back in on Instagram. Seems like we're jumping in and out of Instagram, so sorry about that.
Look at that.
For certain. But we're happy to have you in the house. And of course, today, as you can see, we are joined by a very special guest, and he is the man when it comes to the Highwire Distilling, the national brand manager of Highwire, Mr. Jay Liddell. Thank you so much for being here once again, man. All right, so we're drinking some Jimmy Red, y'all. Some Jimmy Red, and this
I love
is
the accent you put on when you felt obligated to add that in.
Jimmy Red.
Jimmy Red.
Good old Jimmy Red.
Well, it's funny how they
Bottle and bond.
They came with the name Jimmy Red. The farmer who was entrusted to care for the corn when the last grower of this crop was retiring and passing on, he was given 2 ears. So the legend has it that this varietal of corn, Jimmy Red, got down to 2 ears. It was nearly extinct.
Oh wow!
And Ted Tuning was the gentleman, and he was a farmer who loved heirlooms. He loved our history and how the various comings and goings of vegetables, fruits throughout our history, and specifically in the Low Country.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the one who really championed this for years. And then Sean Brock and Glenn Roberts from Anson Mills took up the mantle and brought Jimmy Red to a national stage through food. John Brock being the former owner of Husk, James Beard, winning chef. He would use it making his grits, and he was on cooking shows nationally, sort of bringing attention to this grain. And then things got serious. So that's when Scott Ann and the Highwire team really invested in growing this grain so that it could live on for as long as it possibly could. But the name Jimmy Red, Ted Tuning says, well, I rediscovered, I regrew it on James Island, which is just outside of Charleston. It's surrounded by a series of islands, all connected by spaghetti-style bridges. They're in the marsh, the Low Country. So James Island is where Jimmy Red was first rediscovered. So for forever, he just called it that red corn.
Oh, wow.
And then when they needed to give it a name, well, I guess we can call it Jimmy Red.
Jimmy Red.
And that's what stuck, and that's what we've been. And now our bourbon is trademarked Jimmy Red. And we're the only distiller that is using exclusively Jimmy Red to make our bourbon. We see it from time to time being folded into limited time offer, holiday mash bills from time to time. But really, there's only a handful of usable red corns, and this is the only one that is coming from the U.S. that's in a big way. So
that is awesome, and gosh, you can really see the oils in this bottle in bond. There's such a richness of viscosity that's really nice. Man, the proof is so dialed in. There is no volatility at all of alcohol.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Wow, this is a 100 proof bottle in bond, folks, and you smell zero volatile alcohol.
It's a crazy comparison of the two. Obviously, this being bottled in bond, but of the two batches between what we just previously tried at 95 proof and the bottled in bond, where the green characteristics off this one of kind of a mint note I get, but there's also still that sweetness, so maybe you lean a little spearminty, and a little grassy characteristic as well, which I didn't get any of that off the classic Jimmy Red, even though they're both the 100% red corn.
Right, and that's something.
Yeah, this is batch number 9. So we first started releasing the bottled in bond in 2024. So yeah, I mean, this is our latest and greatest batch of Jimmy Red Classic, and this one is I think we're at a batch. I think we're doing batch number 12 on the bottle and bond. So again, I don't disagree with anything you said, Matt. As far as my tasting experience, you do get more of the minerality. We call it minerality because you're tasting a little bit more of that vegetable, that corn kind of essence in there. But at the same time, to your point, Bernie, it's still balanced, smooth. You taste a little more oak as far as the richness of the wood because of the bottled in bond, in my opinion.
Yeah. Absolutely. I will say on the palate, you really do get a warmth. You feel the spirit note. It's not aggressively kind of challenging the palate into the finish or anything, but it really does help just maximize the flavor on the full palate. And that's where the spirit stays. Pretty neat, y'all. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's I mean, there's the key things about what we're doing here besides the corn program, the sweet mash fermentation program, the barrel maturation, where we're using that 3-year air dried stays before we cooper it. A lot of producers they love to go to alligator char or char 4 because they want it to be super vanilla and really creamy on the nose and on the taste. But we don't do that.
Yeah.
What we do is we go with char 3 because char 3 certainly gives you enough of a tilt of the hat with vanilla, but it still allows for the corn and that oiliness and the sort of minerality and those layers of complexity to come through. Because in my opinion, if you've got alligator char deployed at a certain age statement, it becomes a bit of a one-note experience, a delicious one note, but it just kind of creates that vanilla oak 1-2 punch. Whereas this is a lot more layered and complex, almost kind of like a single malt Scotch, if you will. Like, to me, this is almost getting into that realm of, you know, a Highland whiskey, not the peaty stuff, but it certainly has something that, you know, has that complexity and oiliness and richness. So we find a lot of single malt Scotch drinkers that have certainly been beaten over the head by their bourbon brothers and sisters for years. You got to try this bourbon. You got to try this, and they kind of always tilt their head and say, "That's not for me."
Okay.
Because number 2 yellow dent is a derivative of high fructose corn syrup, and they don't like that high fructose corn syrup jam. So by the Jimmy Red corn and some of the other subtleties around this, it's a chance to participate in the bourbon love without, you know, sacrificing what you like, which is more in that single malt Scotch range. So that's what we've just been picking up and learning from our customers over the last couple of years. Yeah.
Wow, quite delicious. Yeah. Definitely a little more structure there, folks. Compared to the classic, slightly drier flavor profile. Certainly doesn't come across as rich and sweet in the mid palate compared to the classic. So I like how you compared it with single malt Scotch more so, right? Yeah. Something that has a bit more structure, restraint almost when it comes to really that corn being kind of such the forward, you know, tasting sweet, you know, expression. That one really does balance it in a neat finish. Something that's drier on the finish, you start to salivate a little bit because your mouth does, you know, pick up some of those tannins from the wood. But neat to see those side by side. They're different whiskeys. Just 5 proof points in difference, right?
Yeah, that was one of the first things I asked was like, it's 5 proof points, but how is it really going to be that different? And there's a difference in price. It's like, but then you actually experience it, and you're like, it's a big difference.
Right. Absolutely.
Do you know what the age was? I mean, obviously we know it's a minimum of 4, but we also know all the whiskey and it's within 6 months of each other. Was this more on the 4 or 5 year old, or was it the 5 to 6 side, where the first one being a blend of 4 to 6?
Yeah, the first one was a blend of 4 to 6. This one's closer to that 5.5.
Gotcha.
So it's being that it's batch number 9, but the first batch or 2 of the bottle of bond was 4.5 years old. But this is now we're getting into that 5.5 year old situation. Yeah. And the fun part is that we've laid down over 5,000 barrels.
Okay.
So and we're tempering our distribution, so we're only available really in the East Coast and in Illinois and Texas, so that we can next year start to inch up some of our bottled and bond and some of our classic, just based off of the fact that we quintupled our production in 2020. So we went from a 6,000 square foot operation in downtown Charleston in 2013 to 2020. And then in March, we went from a 6,000 square foot operation to a 24,000 square foot operation, and then added another 15,000 in warehouse ricking on the Peabody River, about 15 minutes away. And that rick house is completely full with over 4,000 barrels. So it's that's the other piece of it, is this classic that we started with was exclusively matured in the new facility. So that new facility, speaking of the maturation, really delivers nuances that we're just now learning about. The 4-year-old, 5-year-old product is coming out at barrel strength around 113 to 118. So we're not seeing an incredible increase from our barrel entry proof. Our barrel entry proof for all of our products is 110.
Okay.
So, taking a page from some of the other icons before us, like Michter's, who have a very low barrel entry proof. I think it's 102, 103. But again, when you actually call these things out and think about why people do these things, if you're interested in flavor, complexity, and nuance, and you have the ability to be patient and be methodical, then it just makes sense because you have a low barrel entry proof at 110 or below. Therefore, you don't have to add a whole bunch of water after the nuances and the marriage between the wood and the spirit happens in the rick house. So it just allows more flavor to be to come across the palate. So that's the beauty of the low barrel entry proof.
And a better color.
Yeah,
because there's less water taking it away.
Absolutely, that's a benefit.
Yeah, the color is beautiful. And that adds to, I'm sure, the viscosity as well, right? Some of the oils and so forth that really show up in the legs. Those molecules are of equal standing. So yeah, neat stuff. All right, well, that was the double oak, and of course, I'm so sorry, the bottle and bond. Next is the double oak,
or bottles in bond, as Bernie types.
Bottles in bond. Absolutely, it's been one of those days programming.
I made sure to save that till we were done, just so
I love
couldn't fix it.
I love it. Right, exactly. Well, shout out to the bottles in bond, straight from Bernie.
Sweet. So speaking of color, I mean, this is if you can see this from the
double oak.
The color on the double oak is incredibly intense. And I think what's, a lot of times people want to know, yes, there's been a whole bunch of double oaks that have been on the market for years, but really, how do we determine what our product mix is going to look like? How does what's the process? And so Scott Blackwell is a Culinary Institute of America trained baker. And so he owned a restaurant back in his 20s. He had a coffee roasting business. So he would then source the beans in the 1980s from all over the world when this was not that fashionable.
Okay.
And so he had a lot of focus on natural, organic, and being very specific on the kind of ingredients and types of beans he was used to roast. So it's been ingrained in his every kind of business that he's started on, and it's no different with Highwire.
Okay.
But the process is very much like, well, I wonder, we've got this bottle of bond, we committed to it, but then talking to some of our Sherpas and guides like Julian Van Winkle, Bill Thomas, and Jack Rose, talking with the folks at Astor Wine and Spirits, the folks that are writers that have given us great reviews in the past, other folks that have been guiding us along the way. And they said, you know what? I bet because of the oiliness of the Jimmy Red corn and the fact that you're using a Char 3 barrel primarily, I wonder what would happen if you used a new Char 1 barrel and then created a double oak.
Yeah.
So that experiment happened in 2023.
Yes, indeed.
So it was one barrel.
Okay.
So we do a peach brandy every year, a single source peach brandy that barely leaves the distillery because it's just, people clamor for it around November and December. It is absolutely an authentic whole peaches from South Carolina are macerated and then we turn into this beautiful brandy, aged for 2 years. It's incredible. But the barrels we use for that need to be more subtly charred. So we've always used the Char 1 barrel. And so we set one new Char 1 barrel aside for this double oak tasting room experiment in 2023. And when it came to age in 24, I mean, this was unbelievable. I mean, it was at barrel strength, so it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 112, 110 when it was actually bottled, and it just was, the number one seller that holiday season. We said, okay, so we went out and procured more barrels of Char 1, and this is our very first batch. It just is releasing this month.
This month.
So
hence why there is nothing online about this.
There is nothing online.
Like I'm trying to find a pic. So
you might have to go to our website. So this one is still kind of
fresh out of the stills, right? Fresh out of the barrels, I should say.
Batch one.
This is
batch one. Oh my gosh.
So I guess we're premiering it right here.
There you go. The premiere. I love it. I love it.
This what's the proof on this as well?
107.
Great proof.
Yeah.
107. Absolutely.
107.
Yeah. Many people's favorite proof.
Let
me get you a little more.
I, was feeling a type of way about that because I'm super excited about this. Folks, it is the Jimmy Red Double Oaked.
Yes.
Literally, so sorry. This bottle that I have on the screen right now is not the Double Oak. No one's put a picture online yet, or at least that's searchable right now. Of course, don't hold me to that. I took about 5 seconds to look, and got a shoulder run, right?
Yeah.
But gosh, the Double Oak 107.
Yeah, so
Love
107 proof. This is 3.5 years in just a dark classic. And then it's aged 3.5 years, and then an extra year and a couple months in that char 1 barrel and bottled at 107. I mean, to me, it's what we just tasted with the classic, but you just get it's almost like fudge, brownie, brown sugar, those kind of sort of dessert elements show up with all of that kind of woody, oaky kind of density that kind of goes around it, and then the sweetness is like the cocoon in the middle between the spice and the wood on both sides. Instead of the sweetness sort of driving the train on the first one,
right?
This one is a little bit more enveloped with the brown sugar and that nice base of that oak on the back end.
Wow.
Think we should make some more of these?
Definitely make more of those. Definitely make more of those. Wow. Yeah, the spices, the brown sugar is there. The corn shows up just a little bit differently than in the first two.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's nice. The other thing about it as well, there is no disjointedness in the flavor profile. Like, it's just so seamless right across the palate, right? Sometimes you'll have bourbons that you can taste the kind of progression of how where those grains will start to hit the palate. With this one, it's just smooth across, and that makes it quite enjoyable. You do get the chemistry though of the structure of it, how that attaches to the palate, the oils, the flavors of the sweet red, the flavor of the double oak in this sense. Once again, the balance of 107 is just beautifully presented here. So yeah, good job.
Yeah, I think one thing that's nice about it, a big issue I have at times, and I believe many other people do, is double oaks. It's a fine line of not getting a too tannic product.
Yeah.
And this one, there is some tannins that come through on the back end, but in no way giving you that cotton mouth finish almost, or some of them, it almost a little overwhelming how tannic they get. And this one is not. I mean, this one, you definitely get a higher level of intensity of the oak characteristics and of the barrel, but it is just well balanced for being a double oak product, which is a difficult thing to accomplish.
Yeah, I actually think that the one just before that, the bottle in bond, the oak may have showed up a little bit more, especially in that finish, really giving you the drier notes on the finish. This one's, it's just that step up in the right balance, right? It's just quite seamless.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I think it shows you guys that we're getting better.
Yeah,
because the reality is that the classic and the double oak were literally produced and matured and bottled more recently than this bottled and bond by probably 6 months.
Oh, I see.
Or like 3 months.
Yeah.
So just what happens in 3 months in the life of the batch blending and how we kind of come to market. So it's just to kind of like what's it gonna taste like in another 3 months and another 6 months. And that's why the hardest part about bourbon is everything that we see behind us and in front of us.
Right.
There's so much to experience, but I think if you've got transparency and some nuances within a certain type of a style from a distillery, you can experience different nuances, with every single batch. And so
Indeed.
that's kind of fun for the true loyalists and the true people that just love this particular type of bourbon. So
Absolutely. Fun stuff. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is drinking well. Now, did you mention anything about your rick houses, your storage facilities? Are they temperature controlled or no? And do you notice a difference? Say, for instance, bottling in February or March versus a latter, a summertime bottling. Right. Yeah.
I mean, the thing about being in South Carolina, being in a subtropical climate, is that we don't get a huge fluctuation in temperature. It's pretty much hot most of the time.
Right.
So unlike Kentucky, where you're getting those big swings of temperatures, we actually have a pretty consistent, maturation environment. But I will say that we have two places where we're actually going to mature. One is actually at the distillery, and where the equipment is. So it's literally 50 feet away from our fermenting tanks and our hybrid pot still. We've got about 400 or 500 barrels maturing there. And then 15 minutes away on the river, Peabody River, we have that kind of coastal rick housing that's fully ricked out. And we've got 4,000 barrels there. There's 44 windows, and there's constant breeze coming off the Atlantic Ocean. So you're just getting a good flow of air, and the light is just right for us. So the nuances are still being discovered. We really are just seeing in the last year and a half what the differences are of product that's 4 and 5 years old coming out of our naval base, we call it, because it's on a former naval base that we have our warehouse right on the water. And but I will say that we had higher proof at the distillery that we first started with. We had some 120s, 121s, maybe 123 or 4 that showed up in some online retailers recently. But most of what we're seeing now is 113 to 115 as far as our 4 and 5 and 6 year old product. And as you know, we're going in at 110.
Right.
So it's just creeping up slightly, that proof. But to me, that just means that the flavors are just being, integrated, and it becomes a lot more dense and complex because you're not having wild spikes in proof. You're not having dips. You're just having a consistency that is showing to be a pleasing taste.
So we do got 3 questions before we get too sidetracked. Shout out Azon. One of them, he wasn't here at the very beginning, so one of these just to repeat. Where in South Carolina? Do you offer tours? So we'll let you get those 2 easy ones and finish with, if Double Oak is new in an effort to continue to improve if Double Oak is new, an effort to continue to improve is in place, what can we expect for what might be next from Highwire?
That's awesome. But before you answer that, happy birthday to the EJs.
There you go.
So I missed.
And also, you got
there.
But those 3 questions and maybe more whiskey in our glass also.
Yes, sir.
But at your own pace.
Absolutely.
So we're in Charleston, South Carolina. So for those of us who kind of are hopping in here, we started in 2013. So we're just celebrating 12 years, and we've been in downtown Charleston. So if you've ever been to Charleston, you know that King Street is the entertainment district where you've got bars, restaurants, clubs. That's where a lot of the history and historical buildings are. We are right in the middle of that, so we don't have to have you come into the airport and then drive 2 hours. It's 20 minutes from the airport, and 23,000 square feet. You can come and see us. We have a tasting room. We do tours, from basically Wednesday through Saturday. We're closed on Sunday, per the South Carolina laws. And so we, if you just go to our website, you can book a tour. Tastings are included in that tour. We make, believe it or not, one of our hidden secrets of our distillery is that we have got an incredible world-class cocktail program at the distillery, and it's affordable. So it's
Oh,
not
wow.
it's not like
Okay.
$20-$25 cocktails that you're going to pay in major markets. These are $15 to $18, but these are 5-6 ingredient cocktails that are well made by experts. And we have snacks. We sort of support the Southern Foodways Alliance partners. We've got Benton's ham. We've got we do some Jimmy Red cornbread with sorghum butter.
Ooh, I bet that's delicious.
Where's Zoe?
Right?
Where's
Exactly.
Zoe?
Exactly.
And then after you've had your tour, your snacks, your tastings, Rodney Scott, who's a good friend of the distilleries, he's got his barbecue spot just 2 blocks away from where we are. So, there is all kinds of ways to enjoy yourself in Charleston and with High Wire. So the question about the double oak and sort of what we're focused on next, I'll get to that in a second. I do want to sort of keep a little bit going here with our tasting. And so while we're gonna enjoy, a lot of people find the wine finished products to be a way for people to really kind of have a dessert style bourbon or have a little bit more of a easier, more subtler product. And that's sort of the vein of what started with this. We purchased some Oloroso sherry barrels a few years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago. And just much like with the double oak, we started experimenting. We just kind of laid down some of our classic Jimmy Red and a secondary finish with the Oloroso sherry barrels and just waited 6 months, 8 months, just to kind of see what that would do. There were other wine barrels that were used as well. Madeira was also used. Madeira's got a rich history in Charleston. It was actually the largest consumption of Madeira in the U.S. was Charleston. So it just made sense from a storytelling perspective. And that's where we kind of lead into this. But I think the mantra around product development is what are the things that are off the table. And I think we learned early on that we can't be everything to everybody, but we can be the keepers of Jimmy Red.
Okay.
And
yeah,
so
there you go.
We control 97% of the corn production for bourbon making.
Wow.
So there is so much going on when it comes to finishes, when it comes to storytelling. But at the end of the day, as we all know, a label and a story and a price point will get people to buy the first bottle. But if you find yourself coming back to the glass at your house, you are going to be finding that we're the ones that we're one of the only ones that can bring this to you. And so that's a really strong point of view. In my mind, if anybody started to pick a varietal of corn today, which some have, and then dedicate what they have done, what High Wire's done 10 years ago, they can do the same thing. There's other distilleries that can do and make these same decisions. They're just 5 or 10 years behind what we've got. Right. And so that's happening all across the country. But so with the double oak, let's taste. We'll do the sherry, and then I'll talk more about next steps on double oak.
Okay.
I always give a quick shout out when we talk about downtown Charleston, South Carolina, especially King Street. Shout out Mark Turner, the man himself, who when on King Street in Charleston, South Carolina, stole another man's horse and rode it down King Street and kicked through the front doors of a bar and rode the horse into a bar and ordered a drink.
The guy was thirsty. He had to get his drink.
Mark Turner, the legend himself.
Shout out to Mark Turner. Indeed. Great story. No, thank you.
So this is 93 proof. This is so we just came from 107. Now we're going all the way to 93. And for my take, this is, again, you're getting like a cocktail in a glass, if you will. Like that Oloroso sherry is really delivering some sweetness and some caramel richness and giving you a lot of the those kind of notes to help you enjoy the rest of the corn and the bourbon.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Salinity there.
Stand-up comedy show in the background.
Right, absolutely. As usually happens, right?
The salinity, though.
Yeah, the salinity, a little bit of kind of that open, like tawny or or oxidative like note. You know, it's just that. Just really receiving the sherry quite nicely. And what did you mention? What style of sherry?
Oloroso.
Oloroso.
It's about 6 or 7 months in the secondary finish.
Yeah.
So apparently that's pretty funny.
In
6 to 7 months. You know, I'm not young enough to know, but I do know there is supposed to be some joke when you say 6, 7 or 6 to 7. There's something going on that makes kids laugh.
Okay, here's the joke.
So,
I'm a kid. So why does 7 hate 6? Because 6, 7, 8.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is that right?
Yeah.
7, 8, 9.
7, 8, 9.
Oh, 7, 8, 9. That's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that's why kids like it. Kids have told me that joke 3 times, and it's usually like in the middle of.
There you go. Makes us seem young.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the gray hairs.
Yeah.
We all share.
It's not the years; it's the mileage, Bernie.
There you go.
There it is. Absolutely.
Yeah. So the sherry is for those of us that are looking to have a really quiet experience and just chill and relax, and that's kind of it. It's not going to be in your face too much. It's very subtle, but it's pretty balanced, I think.
I would say so.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think exactly how we've done this lineup, it's a great finisher in a flight or to an evening or something like that, aperitif-esque. It's nice.
Yeah.
Easy drinking, just would help you unwind, relax, go great sitting next to a fire, sitting outside. Weather's getting beautiful here in DC. Definitely getting to be about that season to turn on the fireplace or get the fire pit going out back, and this would be an awesome bottle to have out there.
Absolutely. Although it doesn't show a smoky side of things, the savory note of it really does lend to that malted barley, that single malt Scotch esque production. Once again, it has enough dry note there. It's playing off of those sherry characteristics that you will see. Sherry casks showing up in single malt Scotch quite often. But then the mouthfeel and the complexity there, like if you a space side single malt drinker, could really get down with something like this.
Yeah,
we might get a little smoke before the night's up, though. Could be wrong, just shooting from the hip here.
Yeah, I heard you say the last product.
Thinking,
there's something at the end of the table there.
So before we get to that,
but so beautiful. Oh my gosh, this is gorgeous.
Great. Yeah, it's we actually had a little bit of a lull there. We were out of stock on this one over the summer just because the demand has been so high on it. So we had 3 or 4 months where we just didn't have any inventory, but now we're back in stock for the fall, which is great. And the thing about the double oak, to kind of answer the person's question, so we purchased about 11 Char 1 barrels to kind of get this one started. So unfortunately, our distributor only has 7 or 8 cases left of this initial product. We'll have a few more cases in December that will be available, but it will be probably, I'll call it New Year's Eve kind of time frame. Okay. So if you want to kick off your New Year's Eve celebration with a bottle of double oak, if you don't get a chance to get a bottle of this initial offering, then you can certainly put that on your list for Christmas, or use one of those gift cards, those treasured gift cards for bourbon buying.
Be a great Christmas present for someone,
right?
Yeah. But the sherry's available, so that one should be another great offering.
I think the sherry is just so perfect for fall and leading into holiday season, right? And around into Christmas and all. Those red sherry notes really are quite tasty. And at 90, let's see, where are we there? 93 proof, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's easy. It's very, very easy.
So
all right, well, fun stuff.
Yeah, so this is what I'll consider to be our core offerings, right? These are the ones that we kind of think are worth everyone's attention and having a try at these bottles. This one right here is a bit of a black sheep. So we have again, I mentioned that because of the Southern Foodways Alliance relationships, that Scott and Ann have from their last couple of businesses they've had. You know, community is really one of the most important reasons to have a distillery, to put a bourbon on the market. And that's one of my main, you know, opportunities, is to build a community of people that share flavor, share values, and share experiences like this. So the interesting thing that we were able to do is we noticed that bartenders here in the DC market, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, Scott was talking with some of these bartenders, and they were fat washing their cocktails with Benton's ham, with really fatty meats to sort of add oils and add those meaty flavors into their cocktails. And that sort of was a bit of an inspiration, because they're very good friends with Alan Benton, who is the creator and purveyor of Benton's ham out of Eastern Tennessee. So he's got a smokehouse, and you know, they have been showing up in fine dining Southern restaurants for decades, and it's very much like that Spanish thinly sliced jamon that you would experience. So that is the same style of prosciutto style ham that you know, made so famous from Madrid and Spain, but it's made in Eastern Tennessee. So it's a delicacy. And Alan was so gracious, because Scott and Nan had this idea of, well, I wonder what it'd be like if we joined our corn with your smokehouse processed, because I wonder what it would, you know, the other inspiration, of course, was the Islay single malt Scotch, and how the peating of the barley through that smoked peat experience infuses all that smoke and flavor and nuance into the Scotches. What would that be like for Jimmy Red corn? So again, not many distilleries even have the opportunity to do this, because by the time the grains show up to their warehouse, they've been commoditized and it's packaged up in these big totes, and they just bring them in and then run them through the auger into the miller masher and then start the process. But because we directly buy from our farm partners, we can just care for that corn and send it whichever way we need to. And in this instance, we took some of our corn and we asked Alan, how do you want to receive it? We could, you know, put it in totes. We could just give you the husks. We could just give it to you any which way you like. And he says, Scott, just get it to me, and I'll do the smoking. You make the bourbon.
There you go.
So obviously ownership of pride. So what happened was he actually, you know, took the corn that was already polished, and I think he's going to the smokehouse.
I know. We're just gonna act like he's not here.
Exactly. So anyway, but the point is that the fun thing is that they took the corn to the smokehouse, and then he tied it up in nets. So so just like the ham was tied up in nets hanging from the rafters, the corn was hanging from the rafters for 2 weeks. And so all that slow billowing smoke just infused into the corn. And what's so fascinating is,
when you get here, I'll be here. The guys are coming
back to the distillery.
I will be here, Ed.
Ran it just like we do the normal corn process for making bourbon. And here it is 4 and 5 years later. And when you smell this bourbon, you feel like you're standing inside the smokehouse. It's that ridiculous.
I do. It leaves an impact on you. I do recall this product.
It is not for someone who wants a sherry finished Jimmy Red experience. This is about the opposite of that. But you know what? That's what's fun about it.
It's the variety of life.
So this is the collaboration of High Wired with Benton Smoked Jimmy Red. So aged about 3 years, and as you can see from the nose, I mean, you're literally like, you're out there with your smoker, the smoker that you just built, and you're just basically like waiting for that brisket to come to fruition, and that's really what you're smelling there.
This what gets you through the long haul.
This is the 2 a.m. or the 4 a.m.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Maybe start off with a beer or two, and then 2 a.m. when you're throwing a couple logs on the smoker, break this out.
That's right. I mean, it's just you can smell the mesquite wood. You can smell the meat. You can smell. I mean, you maybe get some roasted corn, some like really roasted corn in there, but
Yeah.
it's a distinctive nose.
It does have one of the, out of my experience with any sort of smoked whiskey in general, has one of the cleanest smoke flavors. There's not a lot of times when you get in the smoky world, there's a bitterness associated with smoke, I think, and this doesn't have it. It definitely leans on like a salinity meat. I think like pork particular, like you can tell it's pork. Very bacon-esque on the nose. And I do think it has a different smoke scent and flavor than basically any other smoked whiskey on the market.
Thank you.
And it's on the palate. I would say it's, once again, we get back into this balance thing. I was not expecting it to be as seamless and as kind of the flavors of the smoke and the whiskey beneath really playing along quite well, quite nicely. It's kind of reminiscent as well for me. You know, smoking a cigar, what have you, and you're just kind of left with this kind of nice smoke note on the palate, which you're happy with, you know, for a few minutes before you take your next puff or two. And just surprisingly, you know, balanced, a good flavor. It does stay with you, but it's not as harsh and kind of intense sometimes as your peated single malts might be, which can leave you with a bit more of a medicinal, iodine, you know, earthy funk. So it can be a little overwhelming. This one aromatically, I thought that it was maybe a little more lean, right, on the nose. Like you got the smoke, not a lot of no other intensities of flavor, but then on the palate, it's so mellow that, you know, once it's on the palate, it's like, okay, I could do that. I don't remember my first taste of the smoked being as balanced, and for me, maybe as pleasurable. Yeah. So
what I think is super fun with it being the 100% Jimmy Red corn mash bill. It has a surprisingly sweet finish to it. That there is this smoked brown sugar finish to an extent with it, where I think the nose and kind of the mid palate, or as soon as it touches your mouth, leans a little on the salty side, the pork side, but it's almost like a brown sugar bacon finish on this one.
Sounds good. So speaking of that, one of our friends down in Atlanta is working with the Bentons here to make a candied bacon, Benton's bacon's smoked old fashioned.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So I mean, look,
Okay.
if you're so inclined to have a fancy smoke machine in your house, you know, more power to you.
Yeah.
But literally, we put the smoke in the bourbon. So it's one of those situations where you just need to put your sugar, your orange, or whatever, however you do your old fashioned, and then if you can get some brown sugar bacon, cook it up, and then put it in the freezer the night after, and then go.
But this, I tell you right now, don't use simple syrup or sugar. I bet with some maple syrup as the sweetener with this in an old fashioned, instead of exactly instead of a simple or raw sugar, use some maple syrup as the sweetener.
That's it.
I bet that would be killer with this.
Yeah, that's it. So that's our fun collaboration for the night to kind of, you know, round us out. I mean, it's so the question about the double of what's next, what's going on. We're excited. I mentioned at the beginning of this that we have this I'm gonna dare say a cult-like whiskey coming out in a few weeks. Again, I don't have enough of it, but it's a 7-year-old wheated Jimmy Red that has been tearing up the influencer world for the last several months, and you know, they just bottled this yesterday, and there's a bottle being overnighted to me. So it's not here today, but I'll have it on Friday. But if it's anything like last year's small allocation, it's going to be an exciting holiday season. And the good thing about this 7-year-old is that we were at about $130 SRP last year. Now we're going to be hovering around 100 to 110, which is great. Wow. So we're able to come up a little bit less expensive because we're now going to be in glass versus our beautiful Le Creuset ceramic bottle, which is great. But we heard again. We're talking about listening to our customers. What's new, what's next, how do we improve upon the double oak? We are not doing research labs. We are not polling and using MarTech and all those fancy big company tactics. We are listening, talking to people we trust, and then when people lean into something, we listen. We have a single barrel program that has become really hot for us the last couple of months, and we're really working with people that have been supporting the brand for years and finding opportunities to listen to them, to find things that they like, and try to serve their needs, because that's obviously we're here to with the mission of bringing this corn to light, because I think this is a fact that was stirring when I heard this. In the world of wine, just to switch gears back to wine, there's over 30,000 varietals of grapes that people use to make wine all around the world. But in bourbon, everybody's using yellow dent, one varietal of corn.
Mm.
So that's 98, 99% of all bourbons that are on the shelves today are made just with that same yellow corn that's not even mostly consumed by people. Most of it's grown for feed, ethanol, and whatnot. So it's not grown for nutrition, for flavor, for complexity. It's grown for speed and yield. So the one submission that we are focused on is this idea that the corn matters. And I think the person that can sort of wrap it all up is someone that we all know and trust and love, and that's Julian Van Winkle. When he was asked by Whiskey Advocate a number of years ago, besides your own products, who do you think is the most collectible and the most doing the most interesting things from a next level collectability perspective? And without question, he said Highwire Distilling Jimmy Red Bourbon.
Wow.
So that was another huge encouragement that led Scott and Ann through the many long years of paying lots and lots of dollars and lots of money just to lay down bourbon, continue to hone their craft, continue to grow, and we're still continuing that same relentless pursuit of flavor. But when you have well established, well credited masters that are encouraging you to do that, we're excited about what's happening today. We're excited about what happened 3 years ago, and we're excited about what's going to happen 3 years from tomorrow. So it's just an exciting time in the world of bourbon and whiskey, where there is so much negativity around what's happening, what's not happening. There are very much bright lights that are occurring in all pockets of the country, and we're very excited about what's happening now for Highwire Distilling, and specifically for helping to be something new and next and discoverable at a relatively affordable price point for people that want to continue to learn and experience and see what these flavors can reveal. So that's what we're about. That's the Jimmy Red brands and what Highwire Distilling is all about. So it's all about the corn. It's all about the sweet mash process.
That's right.
It's about the low barrel entry proof. It's about the air dried staves, and it's about giving it the time and attention to bring it to life in a unique way.
Indeed, that is so awesome. And where's your cob there? Where's your corn? Let's show it off, folks.
Yeah.
Come on now,
so
Mike.
So I pulled this right off the stalk 3.5 weeks ago.
Okay.
So we just went through harvest. We pulled out about 435 acres of Jimmy Red. So like I said, there's a few people that are sort of getting some grown and then folding it into their mash bills, but nobody is keeping this varietal of corn alive and sustainable like Highwire. So if you're interested in sort of bringing a sustainability platform further into the world of bourbon, the best thing you can do is try Jimmy Red, buy an expression, see what you think, and learn more about it, because if there's one word that we keep hearing when people taste these products is unique.
Right.
So that's all.
Absolutely.
That's it. And if you're looking for something unique and something that you want to talk to your friends and family about that's unique and different, this is a good option.
100%.
Absolutely. So, folks, gosh, this has been so amazing. But go ahead over to Highwire Distilling. Gosh, they are on the web, of course, at highwiredistilling.com. Go check them out. Let me actually see if I could share this really quickly with you. If
Should be.
let's see. Okay, let's remove
as
something.
good
I
as he
think
thinks he is.
right, exactly. No, I'm
Don't
horrible.
hold your
Man.
breath.
That was horrible. What's up with that? There we go. There it is. That's what I wanted. So check them out. That's highwiredistilling.com, and that's the Jimmy Red corn kernels right there. Look at all that. I mean, what a color. I mean, what an amazing just gift to the whiskey world you all have provided in taking this unique corn type and going all in with the Jimmy Red, all in. For
you put
certain.
everything on red. Went all in on red.
There we go.
Indeed, for sure. So you all do something else, another brand, right? The Revival.
The Revival, we do it for Revival. Was really the sort of the name came from this whole idea that the slow food movement that was born in the Charleston market, and this rediscovery of lost grains was truly a revival spirit.
Yeah.
And so Revival Rye, again, the same production constructs, whereas single varietal rye, which is the rye that we use is called Abruzzi.
Yeah.
And Abruzzi, there's a local distillery that uses Abruzzi rye as well. And, we know that Leopold Brothers also uses this Abruzzi varietal rye. And it grows in the same farm patches that grow our Jimmy Red corn. And what we love about it is that it's got a sweeter note to it. So the ryes they're spicy like all ryes are, but there's this sweetness to it. And then there's almost on our rye, there's this tropical fruit or almost like a juicy fruit gum kind of thing. So if you like a weird and delicious and nuanced rye, this is one you want to try as well. So the Revival Rye is also available at 90 proof. And then beyond that, we also have an Amaro that's been, you'll see all around the cocktail bars in the Mid-Atlantic here. And that was actually the first Amaro that was ever licensed in the U.S. for a domestic Amaro. So made in America. And what's fun about that is it's truly a love letter to Charleston. So there's Charleston black tea in it. There is some Dancy tangerines. There is some mint, some clove, and there just has this wonderful sassafras kind of note to it that delivers an incredible black Manhattan. You can make an incredible Negroni with it, modified Negroni. And then lastly, what we do is in the summertime, we're just kind of getting back into the fall, but we do a Amaro Palmer, which is lemonade with a lot of ice, lemonade, and an ounce and a half of Amaro, and it makes just a delicious, what I call a porch powder.
There you go.
Yeah, so, I can imagine.
Yeah, and there's also a gin, a hat trick gin that's made with a very, very lemon forward that we do as well, which is a staple. When you go to Charleston, you'll see it pretty much on every back bar, every hotel. And this picture of it's kind of interesting. It's that's a true painting that's at the distillery, and it was painted to be a likeness of one of our co-founders, Scott Blackwell. So hat trick, not the hockey reference, but the
there you go.
So,
right.
But that's really our core lineup. But I think the future, based off what our customers are telling us, is going to be Jimmy Red. Jimmy Red Bourbon is going to be our future.
Good old Jimmy Red.
Jimmy Red.
Jimmy Red.
Absolutely. Well, this has been such an amazing experience. Gosh, folks, once again, go to highwiredistilling.com to learn more. Of course, I'm sure there's social media. handles that you have there? Do you have any that you want to shout out?
Highwire CHS.
Highwire
That's on the gram.
CHS.
Highwire CHS.
Yep. All right. Very good. Well,
Awesome.
gosh, Matt, how do you
Yes.
feel about these whiskeys, man?
I think they're great.
Yeah, we
I
didn't do
definitely would
ratings
say
during the event, But if you want to offer up, a range or however you want to do it, man.
I mean, we can. I mean, I don't know. That's you throw me for a curveball. I think just to kind of encompass the brand of Jimmy Red. I mean, I think unique is the consistent word you could say about every single product. I think it starts from, being something with that much age and 100% corn mash bill before you even get into the varietal of corn or anything like that.
That's right.
Everything they do has a uniqueness to it from start to finish. You can see the care, the time, and the pride that goes into the product. And I definitely think this is a great, anything on the table is a super fun one to bring to a gathering, an event, whatever you want to call it. I bet there is quite a few people who, if you had them try this product and tell them that was 100% corn bourbon, they'd be very surprised. And so it'd be a fun thing in a blind to sneak in there for some of these people. And I think they're a great product. If you see them out in the market, definitely start trying them. I wish someone would go buy a bottle of this smoked bourbon and make an old fashioned for me with it,
right?
So I can try it.
What type of
with some maple syrup as a sweetener?
Maple syrup, absolutely.
Throw a little bacon on top as a garnish. You don't need no orange peel on there. Put a slice of bacon.
Indeed.
It's super fun.
You make your way to Atlanta, go to a place called the Tiny Lou's. It's in a hotel called the Claremont Hotel.
Yeah.
And it's a great hotel. It's an old hotel at Tiny Lou's. You can get yourself that stuff.
Oh.
And I don't know if they're doing.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe you'll have shifted.
Okay. You never know. And you never know. I might be in South Carolina in the next year. We do a lot of business in South Carolina, or well connected in the Charleston area. So I know Mark and Nick have both made several trips this year out there. So might be able to make it myself.
Whiskey Club, by the way.
Might be able to make it out there. We'll see.
Indeed. I have to agree with everything that Matt said. And just add that, the uniqueness of this corn type, this corn variety, and that they're all in. You just have to give them much respect. Artisan, unique, but also very approachable, very user-friendly at the same time, kind of across the board. You might find your favorites, but put a couple of those in someone's glass, and it would be interesting to kind of see their opinions about whether it's a mono grain, and then of course just kind of guessing.
I don't think I've ever heard someone say it that way.
I love it. It's like
mono grain.
Yeah.
No, I think we should let that die here tonight. Call that a one and done.
Remember, like the ties, the monochromatic.
Exactly.
Back in the 90s, back when we were
keep on thinking about it. You'll want to borrow it. You're going to be using mono grain in a minute.
Oh,
tie, got the shirt, same color.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
You're done messed up now, Bernie.
Well,
Instagram just booted you.
We booted us. Okay. But I think they're awesome products. Gosh, I think I had a range just for the bourbons themselves, probably between 7 to 8 as far as my ratings will go, maybe even 8.25. That sherry cask, that Oloroso sherry cask, was super delicious. I love the double oak as well. And then just the basic classic is so delicious. Bottle and bond, I liked it as well. You do get a little bit more woody on that one. So maybe it's just a tad out of balance for this particular batch, but this was a previous batch. We're down to, just a little bit in the bottom of the bottle. So it may have, through it being open and not the latest batch, which I'm super excited to taste that one very soon. I may find that the balance is there to a greater degree. And then that smoked, man. Boy, oh boy. The Benton smoke interesting. I liked it more than I thought I would. So that's probably the one that hits the 7 for me. I think that one's super interesting. Probably, if before starting this tasting, I may not have thought I would rate it as a 7, which is definitely a contender. But it's one of those things where you have to be ready for it and kind of get into it. For a cocktail, I think it could be absolutely exceptional. But I just need to spend a little more time with it, find the space and the place that I
bond with it.
I want to bond with it, and it's probably going to be pretty nostalgic when when that happens. The smoked cocktail with the maple syrup, with the frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah, didn't you say freeze the
you could take the candied
bacon? Yeah.
You cook it and you put it in the freezer, flash freeze it or whatever, and that way it's not gooey and all over the place, and then you put it into the cocktail.
That's right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now it seems like a whole science
Let's make it a thing, y'all.
You're sorry, but that's
making a thing.
It's memorable. That's
yeah,
like a memorable experience,
No.
Like it.
Absolutely. Well, gosh, this has been absolute pleasure. And an honor to have you here on Whiskey Wednesday with us, Mr. Jay Liddell, national brand manager of Highwire Distilling Company out of Charleston, South Carolina. They were the first legal distillery since Prohibition in South Carolina. Huh?
That's right.
That's amazing. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Bernie.
Congratulations to Highwire
Thanks
Distilling.
for coming out.
Thanks.
Congratulations
hanging
to
out with us.
the mono grain corn, Jimmy Red.
He's sticking with it, folks. He's sticking with it.
Come on, I'm sticking with it.
I thought we were going to mature by the end of the show, but clearly I was wrong.
No, why do that? Having too much fun. Hey, folks, we're going to sign off. We'll see you in 7 days, if not before. But there's so much going on this week, man. Matter of fact, did I forget something? Do you have a little something that we need to announce?
It's sitting on the rack. It went.
Oh,
it took the place of something else. Even though we have the man himself from Highwire Distilling, we just show love to anyone who shows love to us. Shout out to Green River. Where am I at? Yeah, look at that. For sending a beautiful neon sign to display here at Chats. You never know. Also nice to show it in front of the good folks at Highwire, because maybe they'll take it as a competition. And you never know.
Right? Send some swag.
You never know. No.
Send some swag.
Also, as you know, Bernie's been mighty generous. Look at that. Mighty generous with doing monthly bottle giveaways starting this summer. Last month, obviously, Zoe donated a pint of Buffalo Trace to be raffled off. So when he makes a purchase here at Chats, we are a week later than we wanted to, but Bernie didn't come to work last Wednesday. So didn't announce a winner last Wednesday. It must be nice to own the place and make your own schedule, right? So tonight, a week belated, bottle being given away, donated by yours truly at Lost Whiskey Distillery. This is a 375 of Lost Whiskey single barrel high rye straight bourbon. And the winner is,
drum roll, please.
I think pretty fitting, Brian Van Golick. I might be mispronouncing your name. I've always meant to ask you if it was Golick. I don't know.
Golick.
Is it Mono Golick?
Yes, it is.
It might be. Pretty fitting. Bernie was about a day late on announcing this, but congrats to you and Christina. Wedding is this Saturday. I know y'all are currently starting the festivities tonight or tomorrow night. So hope y'all have an amazing weekend. Congrats to the two of you and on the behalf of Chats and everyone here. So congrats on your bottle of Lost Whiskey. Congrats on the wedding. And yeah, do we have a giveaway for this month?
Well,
or not yet?
Not yet, man. Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to work on it.
Okay.
We have to work
Good to
on
know.
it.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out. So, by next week, we'll let you know what that bottle might be. But of course, tell them the programming. Tell them what they need to do to get into the.
So yeah. Just all you have to do is make a purchase at Chats. Doesn't matter if it's whiskey, wine, beer. Even though we'll judge you if you're buying beer, buy spirits. But Any purchase at Chats makes you eligible. All you do is after you complete your purchase, ask for a printed copy of your receipt, write your name and phone number on the receipt. Brian, it's a good thing I have your phone number because you didn't write your number.
That's right.
Works out well for you. But ask for a receipt, leave your name and number on it, and that automatically gets you entered in. You can make multiple entries. Every purchase you make throughout the month equals an entry. I said it before, I'll say it again. If you're buying 3 bottles, do not ask Anna, Bernie, or anyone for that matter to make it 3 purchases.
Yeah.
Be an adult, buy 3 bottles in one purchase, come back in an hour or the next day and buy more bottles if you want more entries.
That's not what they invented Venmo for? Like, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Is it, they're buying it because they're trying to eye guys.
Yeah. So it was for every purchase you get an entry. So yeah, and no, we don't break 6 packs of beer, so don't ask to have each can of beer sold as a purchase. So come in, make several purchases, get entered in. Don't know what you're entering for yet, but it'll be something cool. We'll figure it out in the next 7 days.
There you go. It will cost you no more than your purchase.
Yeah.
Here at Chats, and you're already walking away happy with that purchase. So might as well throw in a little bit of fun little goodie, a fun little extra. Once again, congratulations, Brian and Christina. Look forward to seeing you after your matrimony. See you next week or the week after honeymooning.
Yeah.
Don't know what the plans are and all. But again, gosh, thanks so very much to Jay for being here. Shout out to Highwire Distilling, Jimmy Red Bourbon, folks. That's what it's all about. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Whiskey Wednesday Live. Indeed. Oh, that was fun, guys. Indeed it was. Hey.
Thank you all very much. That was fun.
Oh, no, man. So appreciate you. For sure. Yeah, that was good. That was good. Yeah. Indeed.
I like your logo, man. That's great. Is that new or has that been the one for a while?
You know what? It's brand new.
That looks great.
As of like literally the last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks solid.
Yeah,
right.
Anybody
get with that.
Right. I appreciate that, man. Hey, shout out to Rhonda Fox. Shout out to Rhonda Fox.
REF.